Today we're going to be discussing Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Now, when you play tabla, there's already so much to think about. You probably don't think too much about the baby powder that you're using. You can also call it, I guess, talc powder. But there's a bit more to it than you may think, and I'm going to kind of break that down in this video. Before I get to that, there are a few links in the description you should definitely check out. The first one is to a Discord community. It's more relaxed, we have fun. It's for a bit of a younger audience. Then there's also a community on the platform Skool that I've made. It's called Tabla Evolution. And there we have teachers that constantly are evolving how tabla is in this modern day and age. We use technology to the best of our ability. We love the tradition, but we're not extremely rigid. It's really for working class professionals that are outside of India. So if that's you, click the link in the description and join us at Skool. Now, what I really want to talk about today are the different kinds of powders, but especially Johnson & Johnson and the recent health risks that have come out about this. Now, when I mean recent, it was a year ago, but it's taken me a bit of time for this to kind of come to my attention. People for years have been telling me about J&J. I don't want to say Johnson & Johnson this whole video, so let's just say J&J. People have been telling me the risks for years, and I just kind of shrug it off like, hey, you know what? My terikita doesn't have that. You know when you use cornstarch, you get that friction kind of sound. The syahi becomes dull. It starts buzzing. I didn't get that, and all I ever cared about was sound quality. So I never cared about any health risks. But now what's come out is so kind of alarming that I think that there's really no more scope to use it. So let me just go through 3 different powder options. Then I'll go through why I think J&J is so bad. So I actually bought this. I couldn't get this anywhere in the US. I had to go on eBay and order this, which was a big mistake. After I stopped using this, I felt a lot better, and I'll get into exactly why in just a moment. Now, this is also what I don't recommend. Cornstarch. Do not use this. I know my syahi doesn't look very clean, but trust me, if I was using this, it would look even much, much worse. Don't use this. It'll just ruin the resonance of your dia and probably your baya as well. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this, but it works. Pond's Pink powder, I think. Yeah, that's what this is called. So Pond's Dream Flower, actually. I didn't know the name. I think I just say pink because these come in different colors. So you can find them at most Indian stores outside, you know, in the US basically. So I want to now talk about some of the things that have come out about J&J that are a bit alarming, because I know that it's such a staple and tradition in the tabla community that people just won't switch. So I'm going to just show you a couple of facts, and hopefully that brings to your awareness that it's just not worth it. Even though you will get a bit better sound quality with it, it's just not worth the risk. So let's just take a look at 2 articles and we'll go from there. All right. So the first one is from this US news company called Reuters. And what I kind of want to bring to your attention is that they have 11 billion to cover all liabilities for talc. Now, this is one of the biggest fines that any company in the US has ever paid. This is pretty major. This is like really up there. I looked it up. This is one of the top fines ever paid in the US and probably in the world as well. Now, there's another thing as well that I found on asbestos.com, and it talks about Johnson & Johnson a little bit, but it talks about one thing that they've known from the 50s. If you look right here, it says from 57 and 58, and they've known from all the way then that this had asbestos. And they've done all they can to kind of diminish anyone criticizing them. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you is the higher risk groups for J&J asbestos exposure. People who use talc in DIY or other applications. Other applications, I would consider that being tabla playing. So when I read this, I was pretty alarmed. And also my personal experience, I was using J&J in the summer and I got a bit of a cough. It just wouldn't go away no matter what. Now, I can't pinpoint that it came from the talcum powder, but after I stopped using it, it did go away. And I did start researching this a little bit and I was pretty surprised. So I highly recommend using Pond's. I have heard of something called Himalayan powder. Never really used it. Haven't done much research on it. People in the communities that I linked below, they talk about it. And the other last thing I'll say about this is I also had one student that was using climbing chalk, which is what rock climbers use to kind of climb up a hill, or maybe they're doing it in a gym. Now, that's not a good idea because that chalk basically, it looks just like powder. It kind of has the same feel, but it will add more friction. So most people, when they use powder, they're about to go faster, or they want to play faster. If you use climbing chalk, it will slow you down. So this is kind of a brief video about what powder you should use and what you should avoid. And just remember, just a little bit more sound quality is not worth affecting your health. Think long term when it comes to your tabla playing. Thank you.